All right, Chris Popper here in Bangor. I'm joined by Jacob Lamontagne and Matthew Mayo, who are the new music teachers at MDI High School, taking the place of Michael Remy. And Jacob, Matthew, congratulations, welcome. I know you've been in your role for a couple weeks now. If you would, why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us where you're coming from?
Yeah, I can start. So hi there, I'm Matthew Mayo. I'm coming from Bridgeton, Maine, which is down in southern Maine.
Lake
And
Region.
yep, Lake Region. I was a Lake Region kid, and I play the trumpet as my primary instrument, but I got a decent background in a lot of the brass instruments. And this coming year, I'll be primarily focusing in on the pep band, while my colleague over here, which he'll tell you a little bit, will be focusing in on the jazz band, and we're going to be co-teaching some of the band and orchestra. So I'm truly excited to be here and chatting with you and get to know everyone in the community. So
Super.
Yeah. I'm Jacob Lamontagne. I'm also the brand new instrumental teacher here. And like Matt said, I'll be taking over some of the jazz ensemble and jazz combo programs, as well as teaching like music explorations, and managing and advising the Tri-M Music Honor Society for the kids. I'm originally from Berwick, Maine. I also lived in Dover, New Hampshire, and then I moved back to Berwick. So I've been around for a while, and I've also lived in New Hampshire. So um, my main thing is networking with a lot of music teachers in the area. That's one thing that I really strive for. Getting to know the community. It's quite small in Maine, so it's quite easy to do that. But I like being able to know who I can call if I have an issue or if I have questions about something. The Maine music education community is super, super supportive, and it's like a family. So I'm proud to be part of that. Um, I'm a clarinet player, but I also play saxophone and flute as well as piano. I actually do more piano gigs than I do clarinet these days, so I play a lot of piano, and I'll be the new accompanist for the MDI HS choir. So I'm
Oh,
really,
super.
yeah, yeah.
You both aren't going to lack for things to do. What with the pep band performing, and we saw and heard the pep band the other night. We love the fluorescent shirts that everybody had, which was really great in the fog, so I could see everybody across the field. And welcome. I will tell you that my claim to fame is I played the saxophone for the Queen when I lived in Bermuda. Yeah, well, I still have nightmares because we played the entertainer and there was a saxophone solo like 5 bars into it, and we always squeaked. And God love my music teacher, we drove him absolutely crazy. And I think it got to the point where he thought we were squeaking on purpose. But yeah, no, it was just I still have nightmares. Um, So, Matthew, where did you graduate college from?
yeah, so I graduated from the University of Maine just this past spring. Funny enough, we can expand upon this a little bit, but we were actually college roommates, and we
Oh,
graduated
really?
at the exact same time. So we did that for 3 years as roommates, and we also got to be drum majors together in our marching band for 2 years. So we have a lot of connection through that, and it was just funny how we just landed in the same spot at the same exact time, and everything happened for a reason. And I'm truly blessed to be next to this guy every day and working with him. And it's just been a phenomenal experience to grow with him and not just, have our separate ways.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Well,
Yeah, it's
you probably don't know. Maybe Matt Haney told you, but I think it was Dan Granholm who was the band leader before Michael Remy. He was trying to start a marching band at the high school. So, with your guys' band major uh, experience, who knows? You could maybe something down the road.
We've heard the chirps from the other faculty members like, oh my gosh, wait, they both did marching band? Wait, we want a marching band? So we're looking into that for future years. Obviously, not in the direct immediate time, but
Right.
potentially we'll look into it for, especially even maybe starting it small with a little small halftime thing or something at the football games, and potentially grow. But that's on the back burner for now, as we're trying to get settled in. But has been talked about a little bit. So
yeah, and
And
we are
go ahead.
definitely we are hyper planners, so we need to
yes,
make sure that we are just as on board as the kids are in making sure that it's organized and it's sustainable for
Exactly.
years to come. I think that's the key word that we've been learning this whole time that we've been here is how do we make this program more sustainable? How do we make sure that kids keep coming back? How do we make sure we keep the teachers to keep coming back? And the community as well. So it's sustainability is a really big topic that we're kind of focusing on.
Well, I know that there are ample opportunities with parades and things like that. So you know, I know like the Connors Emerson band has marched in parades. So we'd love to see the Trojan band marching at some point. That would be pretty cool. Um, what do you, I mean, you must have heard a lot about the music program at MDI High School. Um, what did you hear? What did you, and I know like the first year is like let's not change the world in a semester or a week or something like that. But what direction would you like to kind of go?
Do you want to start us off with that?
Well, there's a lot of directions we could go. I think that's the part that we're kind of figuring out is there's so many different avenues that we could take this program because we are so lucky to have the community support, the budget to support the program, and the faculty and students that want to keep coming back. So really the sky's the limit. I think that's something that is overwhelming but also really exciting at the same time. We're still kind of getting our feet wet with what is here, what is still left, what needs to be repaired, what is really going well. So we're figuring that out as we go. I feel like the history of, let's talk about the pep band specifically. I feel like the history of the pep band has such a rich, deep history that
In culture.
In culture, and I think we're figuring that out alongside.
That's a good word for it.
Yes, it's its own culture, and we're trying to also put our own kind of spin on it, both Matthew and I, with the kids as well.
Yes.
We want to make sure that they want to be a part of this. It's not our program, it's their program, but we're helping facilitate it. That's all.
And we're really working on, especially on my end a little bit, is solidifying those traditions that have been going on for 25 years. And, some of these parts and pieces of music have been photocopied a billion times, so it's hard to read them, or, there's confusion within the ensemble every once in a while. Oh, how does this go again? And so once we solidify those, I would love to at some point get it in writing and make sure that 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years down the line, if we eventually leave, retire, whatever happens, that those traditions can carry on forever. And then obviously new directors can put their own spin onto it, but making sure that the core parts of those traditions never leave this school. And I was a sports kid. I did 3 sports, soccer, basketball, and track. And I understand that sports culture and that continuation of tradition is very important within a community. And that's what keeps bringing people back. So trying to solidify those and putting those into writing would be phenomenal.
Yeah, I will say, Chris, we have about, I think it's over 50% of our symphonic band are all brand new students. They're all freshmen.
Really?
So I think a big struggle we're having is filling in those gaps where we had so many strong seniors and veteran players that are no longer at the school. They graduated. So we're having a little bit of catch up time for these new folks to.
And then also revisiting for those upperclassmen that have been here, but maybe didn't get the full experience through COVID or any other experience. Like we are really focusing on not leaving any student behind and putting them under the rug. We want everyone to have an idea what's going on so we can continue to grow and work with phenomenal playing and phenomenal traditions that carry on forever.
Yeah.
I will tell you that, to hear and watch the MDI pep band when they perform Jesus Christ Superstar at the auditorium during the basketball tournament is a highlight for, I mean, I get people coming to me and they're like, is the pep band going to be there? Is the pep band going to be there? Because it is so loud, so proud. I mean, when you start hearing the drums beating and everything, it just gets everybody fired up. And I remember laughing. I mean, when they had maybe it was NBC or CBS's um, uh, playing of Jesus Christ Superstar during the Easter season when it was live, and all of a sudden you hear that. I kept looking around for the Trojan basketball team to come running out of the in the TV screen because that's what that means to people. I mean, there are YouTube videos of the band performing Jesus Christ Superstar. So I mean, it's just it's incredible to see that. Um, how do you see? I know like Michael used to have student conductors and was really trying to build that legacy. Where do you guys go with things like that? And
Yeah, we want to provide opportunities for students in whatever way possible for them. And if that is a student wanting to really conduct, we'd love to find opportunities to get them involved in those situations, but also making sure that we give them that foundation so when they get up there, they're not panicking or whatever. We don't want to set up anyone for failure. And so giving them those backgrounds and, whether that's conducting lessons or if someone wants to play a solo or whatever, giving them those lessons. And what's nice is there's two of us. That's not a common thing in the state of Maine. I can only think of one other school that has two band directors.
And that's at a middle school level.
At a middle school.
So I believe
wow.
we're the only high school music program that has two instrumental directors
in the state of Maine. That is a thing in some other parts of the country, but and it's just phenomenal to have that though, because we have now more resources than ever. And sometimes in rehearsal it can be Jacob gets up on the podium and he's working with the woodwinds and percussion, and I can take the brass, or someone needs to work on a solo. Hey, let's work with the band, and Mr. Lamontagne takes them out to the practice rooms and they really solidify that solo before they get out there and have to perform it in front of their peers, which can be the scariest thing in the world. Even more scary than doing it in front of people you don't know. So
Right.
prepared and working with them. And it's all about communication. That's one of our biggest goals, not even with just in this ensemble, but across school wide. And so, especially when there's transition and new blood coming in to direct, we want to make sure there's communications on both sides to make sure everyone knows what's going on and everyone feels heard and validated, because they know this program better than we do because they've been here and they've lived it, and they've probably had siblings and some of them even parents who have been a part of
Right.
this. So
I know that one of the cool things is that they've had alumni playing with the band in January and February when they come back, and that's always been exciting to see and hear. You guys are lucky in that Bronwyn, who's not here today, is a veteran teacher, so she's that third part of the MDI music department, and it must be nice to be able to lean on her to know the the ins and outs and have her give you the history and things like that.
yeah, you said something yesterday that like really clicked, and what was that you said yesterday? That she was maybe like the glue of this department.
Yeah, I referred to Bronwyn as the glue. She is so knowledgeable, so patient, and one of the kindest people that MDI has. Um, Ever since that we started, being involved with the high school, she has been, a phone call away, a text message away, always checking in on us. Even before we were contracted to start, she'd check in on us and ask how things are going. If we need any help with planning anything. We had so many different Google Meet meetings with her over the summer, and she was really, really patient with us and very helpful, and super, super excited to have us join her team. And she has been through a multitude of changes with all these band directors, and she has seen what the potential is. She has seen so many different ranges of ability levels too, and she's also a percussionist, So she will occasionally pop into our rehearsals and, she'll tap kids on the shoulder and be like, hey, watch your body posture or watch your stick height. So she is super flexible with her talent as well. So I really appreciate her being supportive of the instrumental program as we are supportive of the vocal.
And being a mom who's had a child that's gone through MDI High School really gives her an additional perspective as well.
Oh yeah, she's definitely taken us under her wing. She is. I think of her more as an aunt, the favorite aunt. But she has been so patient, friendly. She brings us lunch sometimes.
Holy, I mean, right?
I know.
So she really is a great person, a great human being, and I'm very blessed to be in a location that has such a great team.
What and obviously you probably have some interaction with Casey Rush and the drama department as well.
Yeah, so Casey is he's my mentor teacher that was assigned to me from the school, and we've already had multiple meetings, just kind of discussing what it's looked like before, what it could look like, how we can collaborate with the theater department to make it a one cohesive unit. We're all part of the arts, and there's no reason why we can't put our thoughts together and our talents together. And he is a super patient person. And very talented. He told me he was a band kid all throughout college, so he understands exactly what we're talking about. And he's given me some musical tips as well, even though he said he was only a music major for one day, but he really is a veteran teacher that knows what he's doing, and I'm thankful to have him as my mentor.
What do you listen to in your spare time? Are there any artists that you? I mean, and if it's Mozart, go ahead, proudly announce it. All right. If it's rap or what, I mean, you just shock us and tell us what it is.
Right now, there's a few. Okay, Gustav Mahler, phenomenal symphonic composer of the later end of the 1800s and beginning of 1900s. Phenomenal brass writing. That's why I love it. I love anything trumpet and brass heavy. But lately as well, I love Jacob Collier. He's got some wonderful chords and beautiful music to listen to, and it just kind of zones me in a little bit. I just kind of escape a little bit, which is great. So those have been those big two. And then I'm learning a ton of new artists from my students. I teach rock band here, and one of my first assignments was make a top 10 playlist of like 10 songs that you love to listen to or maybe want to learn at some point. And I'm going through that, and these kids have more taste than I ever did back in high school time. I was listening to the Glee soundtrack back in the day and show tunes.
Listen, I'm a Gleek. I'm proud to admit it. We watched, my wife and I, I think it was Tuesday night or Thursday night. We never missed a Glee episode. So yes, I can understand it. And you, Jacob, how about you?
It depends on the day, honestly. There's one genre that I don't vibe with, and it's country music. So I'm sorry, I can't vibe with country music. I appreciate it and understand it and love talking about it, but it is not my first choice.
We can change that.
My primary choice, I love oldies, 50s and 60s. That is my jam. I love that stuff. Anywhere from like the Beatles, even Rolling Stones, even to like Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles. I love anything that's from that era. Other stuff that I listen to, again, it depends on the day. I do play for a lot of choirs. I love listening to new choir music. I really like orchestral stuff. As a clarinet player, I'm able to kind of play in a symphonic band level and orchestral kind of style too. And I love chamber music. That was something I did in college, and I founded a student woodwind quartet. It was originally a quintet, but then it changed to a quartet. But I started that, and that's really where my passion for creating music and performing the music really started to come out. And as a leader, I had to also be an educator. So I had kind of the best of both worlds there too.
All right, Matthew, what's one thing that no one knows about you that they should? Jacob, you you benefit because you've heard the question. The same question is coming to you.
This one's a tough one. I mean, that no one knows. Are we talking like no one in this area knows?
Yeah,
Or-
no, and I mean, no, not like, no one besides your mom. I mean, but like nobody in the MDI area knows
Yeah.
about, but should.
I can tell you right now, I'm a twin. Looks nothing like me. My family, I grew up in a family of 6, and um, a very sports oriented household. And I actually was, funny enough, the only one that did much music. I got some like uncles and grandparents that are into the arts and stuff, but like even my dad was my varsity basketball coach, and he did coaching all my life. So it's funny to like look at my family. But yeah, I'm a twin. He looks nothing like me. He's a big football guy, 6'4", built like a lineman type deal. So kind of shaped me. Always had a companion and always had someone by my side. And I think it's kind of funny that I have almost a work twin, someone that works with me and can
There you
kind of
go.
ideas off me.
Oh, this is a hard one.
Well, I gotta end. I mean, I've given you all softballs, so I mean, I gotta end up with a little fastball here.
I guess, yeah. The stuff that people don't know about me. I do come from a musical family. All of my family members are all musicians by ear. I only know one of my second or third cousins that ended up going to school for music, so I'm one of the only like immediate of my families to go to school for music. And frankly, to be a teacher, I don't think there's any single person in both my mom and dad's side that are teachers. So I'm glad to kind of have the opposite kind of experience. Both of his parents are teachers, and I don't have any background with teaching, but it is one of the most rewarding and best jobs in the world.
Oh yeah.
My wife just retired after teaching for 40 some years. So,
Wow.
yeah, she's a special ed teacher. So she's happily retired right now from teaching. So we'll see how long that stays. But yeah, she's not missing the IUP process or anything like that. At least in September. So guys, thank you very much. This has been a treat to get to know you. I'm sure we'll see each other in the hallways of MDI High School. Matthew, why don't you give your email address so that way if people want to get a hold of you,
Yeah.
they know how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, especially if you want to reach out for alumni stuff, like you're always welcome. We're growing, so we want to just make the loudest sound. So my email is matthew.mayo@mdirss.org. Matthew is 2 T's, not just one. So.
All right. Well, that's because you're a twin. And Jacob?
Same thing. My first name, Jacob Lamontagne, LAMONTAGNE at MDIRSS.org.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us, Chris.